Today, we are going to talk about something very useful, modern, and motivating. We are going to talk about how to improve your English in 2026 using real, science-based life hacks. These are not motivational quotes or vague advice. These are real ideas from psychology, neuroscience, and learning science, explained in simple language. If you are listening to this, it already shows that you care about your English. You are investing time and energy in yourself. The goal of today is simple: get better results from the same effort. We are talking about smarter learning, not harder learning. Imagine finishing this episode and thinking, if I change a few small things in my daily life, my English will naturally get better over time. That is exactly the mindset we want. Before we start, I want you to relax. Advanced English does not mean complicated English. Advanced English means clear English, confident English, flexible English. Everything I share today can be used in your daily life. You do not need expensive courses or extreme routines. You need habits that work with your brain, not against it. Science shows that learning a language is not about talent. It is about systems. When your system is right, progress happens almost automatically. Life hack 1: spaced repetition. The first life hack is very powerful because it changes how your brain remembers English. This idea is called spaced repetition. Here is the simple idea. Your brain forgets information very quickly if you see it only once. This is normal. Forgetting is not failure. Forgetting is part of learning. The trick is to see the same English words, phrases, or grammar again and again with small gaps between each review. For example, instead of studying 50 words for 1 hour, study 5 to 10 words for 10 minutes today. Review them tomorrow. Review them again in 3 days. Review again in 1 week. This simple pattern creates strong memory connections in your brain. How to use this in 2026. Listen to a podcast today. Write down 5 useful expressions. Use them in a sentence tomorrow. Listen again after a few days and notice how easy they feel. This method can double your memory without doubling your study time. Life hack 2: emotion helps learning. The second life hack is about emotion. Your brain learns best when you feel something. Neuroscience shows that emotion and memory are connected. When you feel curiosity, surprise, humor, or even a little frustration, your brain pays more attention. This means that boring English materials slow you down, even if they are technically correct. To improve your English, you need to connect it to things you care about. Practical examples. Love technology? Listen to podcasts about future tech. Love stories? Listen to personal stories or documentaries. Love debate? Listen to discussions with different opinions. When you are interested, your brain releases chemicals that help you remember. You understand faster, stay focused longer, and English becomes part of your emotional world, not just an academic task. Life hack 3: active recall. The third life hack is called active recall. This is one of the strongest learning tools. Passive learning is comfortable. You read, watch, or listen. But active recall is when you try to remember without looking. This effort tells your brain to strengthen memory pathways. It feels harder, but works much better. For English learners, active recall means speaking, writing, or mentally recalling language. After listening to a podcast, summarize it in your own words. After reading an article, explain the main idea to yourself. When you learn a new expression, use it in a real sentence. Even 1 minute of active recall can be better than 10 minutes of passive exposure. Life hack 4: sleep matters. The fourth life hack is about sleep. Many learners ignore this. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is processing time. Your brain organizes information and strengthens memories while you sleep. Studies show that learners who sleep well after studying remember more vocabulary and grammar than those who do not. This means that staying up late to study English can actually slow your progress. Tips for 2026. Study English earlier in the day, especially listening and reading. If you study at night, keep it light and enjoyable. Avoid heavy memorization right before bed. Good sleep is not laziness. It is a learning strategy. Life hack 5. Learn in context. The fifth life hack is about context. Your brain remembers language better when it is connected to real situations. Isolated words or grammar rules are hard to remember. But when English is connected to a story, a place, a personal experience, it becomes meaningful and easier to remember. For example, if you learn "I went to the market," remember a real day when you went shopping. Your brain links the words to an experience, so you remember them faster. Your brain loves patterns and connections. This is why the fifth life hack works so well. You can use it by learning English in full sentences and real situations, not just single words. For example, instead of learning the word negotiate alone, learn it in a sentence. I need to negotiate my salary next year. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, notice how native speakers use them in real conversations. When you connect English to your own life, your brain treats it as useful knowledge, not just abstract information. Life hack 6. Making mistakes is essential. The sixth life hack is something many advanced learners avoid, but science shows it is very important. Making mistakes is good for learning. When you make a mistake and notice it, your brain updates its internal model of the language. This process is called error-based learning. Without mistakes, there is no adjustment, and without adjustment, there is no improvement. The key is psychological safety. You need places where mistakes are allowed. This could be speaking to yourself, recording your voice, writing short texts, talking with supportive partners. Instead of feeling embarrassed about mistakes, treat them as feedback. Every correction is a sign that your brain is learning. In 2026, confident English speakers will not be the ones who never make mistakes, but the ones who are not afraid of mistakes. Life hack 7. Consistency over intensity. The seventh life hack is about practice habits. Research shows that short, frequent sessions are better than long, rare sessions. Your brain prefers regular signals. 10 to 20 minutes of practice every day is more effective than 2 hours once a week. Consistency also builds identity. When you practice daily, even briefly, you start to see yourself as someone who uses English every day. This does not mean forcing yourself. It means designing your environment. Listen to English while walking. Think in English during simple tasks. Write short notes in English. These micro habits add up. Over months, they make English feel natural in your mind. The goal is to make English part of your daily rhythm, not a special event. Life hack 8. Focus. The eighth life hack is about focus. Multitasking feels productive, but it actually reduces learning quality. When you switch between apps, messages, and videos, your brain cannot process language deeply. Deep focus, even for short periods, creates stronger understanding and memory. How to use this hack? Create small focus windows of 10 minutes. Do only one English activity, listening, reading, or speaking. Turn off notifications, avoid background noise. After 10 minutes, you can stop. These focused moments train your brain to engage deeply with English. Over time, your attention span improves and complex content becomes easier to understand. Life hack 9. Identity. The ninth life hack is about identity. This one is subtle but very powerful. Science shows that behavior follows identity. If you see yourself as someone who is trying to learn English, your actions may be inconsistent. But if you see yourself as someone who uses English, your behavior changes. You start using English to think, explore ideas, and express opinions. You can build this identity by changing your inner language. Instead of saying, I am studying English, say, I use English to learn about the world. Instead of waiting to be perfect, start acting like an English speaker. This mindset reduces anxiety and increases motivation. English stops being a goal and becomes a tool for life. Putting it all together. Improving your English in 2026 is not about doing more. It is about doing things differently. Here's a quick recap. Spaced repetition strengthens memory. Emotion increases attention. Active recall builds skill. Sleep consolidates learning. Context creates meaning. Mistakes drive improvement. Consistency builds habits. Focus deepens understanding. Identity shapes behavior. You don't need to change everything. Choose 1 or 2 ideas and apply them this week. Small changes repeated over time can transform your English more than short-term effort. Example: integrating life hacks into a normal day. Imagine a normal weekday in 2026. You wake up and instead of immediately checking social media, you listen to a short English audio while getting ready. It could be news, a short story, or a calm conversation. This simple action tells your brain that English is part of your morning environment. There is no stress, no test, just exposure and familiarity. Over time, these small, consistent habits make English feel natural, integrated, and effortless in your life. Later in the day, maybe during a short break, you might remember one idea or one phrase from what you heard earlier. Try to recall it without checking your phone or notes. This is called active recall. Even if you cannot remember it perfectly, the attempt itself strengthens your learning. Your brain likes effort. It responds to challenges by adapting. This small moment is very powerful. It matters more than you might think. Match English to your mood. In the evening, choose content that matches your emotional state. If you are tired, pick something light and enjoyable. If you feel curious or energetic, choose something deeper or more challenging. This is called emotional matching. It keeps your motivation stable. You are not forcing yourself to learn when your energy is low. You are cooperating with your mind. Over time, English becomes associated with comfort and interest, not stress or pressure. Prediction improves listening. Another idea supported by science is prediction. Your brain is always trying to guess what will happen next. When you listen to English, try to guess the next word or idea before you hear it. When your guess is correct, your confidence grows. When your guess is wrong, your brain adjusts and learns. Both outcomes are useful. This habit makes your listening more active. Passive listening becomes active thinking. You can practice prediction by pausing audio and asking yourself, what comes next? Doing this with podcasts, videos, or conversations. Speaking and pronunciation. Many advanced learners understand English well, but hesitate to speak. Science shows that speaking anxiety often comes from fear of judgment, not lack of ability. One effective hack is private practice. Speak to yourself. Record your voice and listen back. Notice patterns and improve clarity. Speaking out loud also strengthens connections in the brain between understanding and expressing language. Even 5 minutes of speaking daily can make English feel more natural in your mouth. Use variability. Another powerful concept is variability. Research shows that learning in different conditions improves long-term retention. Listen to different accents. Read different types of texts. Use English in different contexts. Variety challenges your brain in a healthy way. It prevents rigid learning and builds flexibility. Practical examples. Mix formal and informal English. Listen to both fast and slow speakers. Read both short and long texts. This prepares you for real-world English, which is always unpredictable. Learn from mistakes. Let's return to mistakes because they deserve more attention. When you notice a mistake, pause and reflect calmly. Ask yourself, why did it happen? Was it grammar? A missing word? Pressure? This reflection turns a mistake into insight. Without reflection, mistakes repeat. With reflection, mistakes teach you. It's also important to separate communication from perfection. Communication is about meaning. Perfection is about form. In real life, meaning comes first. When your goal is to communicate clearly, confidence increases. When your goal is to be perfect, anxiety increases. Science supports this because stress reduces working memory and limits language performance. Motivation through action. Motivation is not something you wait for. It is something you create through action. Small successful actions create positive feedback. If you understand a podcast better than last month, your brain releases reward signals. These signals encourage you to keep going. This is why tracking small progress is important. Notice things like understanding jokes more easily, needing fewer subtitles, thinking in English without translating. These are real signs of growth. Progress is visible in comfort and speed, not just test scores. Self-explanation. Another science-based method is self-explanation. After learning a new concept or phrase, explain it in simple English as if teaching someone else. This forces clarity. If you cannot explain it, you do not fully understand it yet. Self-explanation is powerful, free, and very effective. Your environment matters. Your environment affects your learning more than you might think. If your phone, notes, reminders, and devices are in English, your brain receives constant signals. This reinforces your identity as an English user. English becomes part of who you are, not just something you study. Frustration and growth. Frustration is normal for every serious learner. It often means you are at the edge of your ability, where growth happens. Instead of avoiding frustration, recognize it as a learning signal. Take a short break, then return. Do not quit completely. Consistency matters more than mood. Interleaving skills. Science supports interleaving, mixing different skills instead of focusing on one for a long time. For example, listen for 10 minutes. Speak for 5 minutes. Read for 10 minutes. This feels harder, but it improves flexibility. Your brain learns to switch skills and apply knowledge in different situations. Technology as a tool. In 2026, technology will support language learning, but tools alone do not create progress. Use technology to support spaced repetition, enable active recall, provide meaningful input. Do not use it as a distraction. Be intentional. Technology should serve your learning, not replace your thinking. Long-term vision. Think about your why. Is it work, travel, confidence, or connection? When your daily habits align with your deeper reason, learning feels lighter. Purpose reduces resistance. Science shows that meaningful goals increase persistence. Every day you use English, even imperfectly, you are shaping your brain. Neural pathways grow through use. Silence weakens them. Use strengthens them. You are not waiting to be ready. You are becoming ready by using English. Notice how you feel when you learn. Notice which ideas resonate with you. You do not need to remember everything. One strong idea, if applied consistently, is enough to change your learning path. English potential is not fixed. It can grow. Your daily choices decide how far it grows. Attention and awareness. Many learners go through English content without really noticing what they hear or read. Science shows that noticing is essential for learning. When you consciously notice a new grammar structure, a repeated phrase, a pronunciation pattern, your brain marks it as important. This makes it more likely that you will remember and use it later. You can train noticing by slowing down sometimes. If a sentence sounds natural or impressive, pause and ask yourself, why does it sound good? Is it the word order? Is it the verb choice? Is it the rhythm? This simple reflection turns listening into learning. You are no longer just consuming English. You are analyzing it naturally. Protect working memory. Working memory is the part of your brain that holds information briefly while you use it. When working memory is overloaded, language performance drops. Stress, multitasking, and rushing make English feel harder. To protect your working memory, speak slowly. Allow pauses. Treat silence as processing time, not failure. When you give yourself time to think, sentences become clearer. Over time, speed increases naturally. Fluency grows from clarity, not from rushing. Input quality. Not all English input is equal. The best input is understandable, but slightly challenging. If content is too easy, your brain does not grow. If content is too hard, your brain becomes frustrated. The ideal level is where you understand most of it, but still need to focus. You can adjust input by changing speed, using subtitles, choosing familiar or slightly new topics. This flexibility keeps learning efficient and enjoyable. Chunking. Your brain prefers chunks of information, not isolated words. Native speakers think in chunks like phrases, collocations, sentence patterns. Learning in chunks makes speaking faster and more natural. Examples of chunks. In the long run, it depends on. I tend to think that chunks reduce cognitive load. They free your brain to focus on meaning instead of structure. When listening, try to identify chunks rather than individual words. This improves comprehension and speed. You stop translating and start understanding directly. Reflection. Reflection turns experience into learning. After using English, take a moment to reflect. What went well? What felt difficult? Even 1 or 2 sentences are enough. You can think them or write them. Over weeks, reflection helps you notice patterns in your strengths and weaknesses. This makes your practice more focused and effective. Confidence. Confidence grows through evidence. Every small success adds proof that you can use English. Small wins could be understanding a podcast, expressing an opinion clearly, explaining a simple idea without hesitation. Acknowledge these moments. They build realistic and stable confidence that lasts under pressure. Social learning. Humans learn language best through interaction. Even limited interaction improves. Motivation. Memory retention. Low-pressure opportunities to use English. Comments. Messages. Short conversations. If speaking is stressful, start with writing. Over time, move to voice messages. Short calls. Gradual exposure reduces anxiety and builds skill. Your brain adapts step by step. Specific goals. Vague goals like improve English are not helpful. Science shows that specific, meaningful goals guide attention and effort. Examples. I want to explain my ideas clearly in meetings. I want to understand podcasts without subtitles. Clear goals help you choose relevant practice and reduce random effort. This alignment makes progress feel purposeful. Patience and consistency. Language learning is not linear. Some weeks feel productive, others slow. Science shows that learning happens in waves. Slow periods are your brain reorganizing behind the scenes. Consistency matters more than intensity. Keep habits even when progress feels invisible. Trust the process. Results often appear when you least expect them. Identity. When English becomes part of your identity, learning feels easier. You are not forcing yourself to study. You are expressing who you are. This reduces resistance and increases joy. Strengthen identity by using English for thinking. Reflect on plans, opinions, or experiences in English. Internal use builds fluency from the inside. Over time, English feels less foreign and more natural. Self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Learning a language takes time. Mistakes and slow progress are normal. Self-compassion reduces stress, protects working memory, and helps you stay consistent. Harsh self-criticism actually reduces learning efficiency. When you judge yourself for mistakes, stress increases. Stress blocks learning. Treat yourself like a supportive coach. Acknowledge effort. Correct gently. Move forward. Science shows that positive emotional states support thinking and learning. When you are calm and kind to yourself, your brain learns faster. This is not about being soft, it is about being effective. Systems, not tricks. As you listen, notice how all these ideas connect. They are not separate tricks. They form a system that respects your brain, your emotions, and your daily life. Improving your English in 2026 is about building this system gradually. You don't need perfect conditions. You need direction and consistency. By listening and reflecting, you are already on this path. Every minute of mindful exposure matters. Every small habit shapes your future ability. Time, patience, and consolidation. Many learners expect fast results, especially at advanced levels. Science shows that advanced progress is often slower but deeper. At this stage, your brain is refining what you already know, not building from zero. This refinement takes time but leads to natural and automatic English. A key concept is consolidation. Consolidation is when your brain stabilizes what it has learned. It happens gradually through repetition, sleep, and use. You may not feel improvement every day, but your brain is quietly strengthening connections. Trusting this invisible process reduces frustration and keeps you consistent. Deliberate practice. Deliberate practice means practicing with clear attention and intention. Instead of repeating what you already know, focus on weak areas. Specific pronunciation sounds. Complex sentence structures. Expressing abstract ideas. Deliberate practice works best in short sessions. Focus deeply on one small skill. Stop before fatigue sets in. Over time, many small improvements create noticeable change. Pronunciation and listening. Pronunciation is closely connected to listening. When you hear differences in sounds clearly, your brain can reproduce them accurately. Listening carefully is more important than repeating quickly. You can practice pronunciation by shadowing. Listen to a sentence. Repeat it immediately, trying to match rhythm and intonation. Do not worry about perfection, focus on flow. Even a few minutes a day builds clarity, muscle memory, and confidence. Metacognition. Metacognition means thinking about how you learn. When you understand your learning patterns, you make better choices. What type of content helps you most? When do you feel most focused? Instead of copying other people, you build a system that fits your brain. Personalization increases efficiency and enjoyment. Mental fatigue. Learning uses cognitive energy. When you are tired, quality drops. Science suggests stopping before exhaustion. Ending while engaged leaves a positive memory and increases the chance you will return tomorrow. It is better to stop early than push to frustration. Sustainable learning is about balance. You are training for the long term, not racing for short-term results. Repetition with variation. Repeating the same idea in different forms strengthens understanding. Hear it. Read it. Explain it. Write it. Each form activates different neural pathways, creating strong and flexible knowledge. This is why podcasts, reading, speaking, and writing should support each other. They are connected expressions of the same language system. Writing. Writing is a thinking tool. You slow down and organize ideas. Clarity transfers to speaking. Writing examples. Short reflections. Messages. Summaries. Do not aim for perfect writing. Aim for clear writing. Use simple sentences when needed. Over time, complexity grows naturally. Writing regularly builds precision and confidence. Teaching others / self-explanation. Teaching accelerates learning. Explaining exposes gaps in understanding. Even if you are not a teacher, teach yourself out loud. Pretend someone is listening. This strengthens memory and understanding and also builds speaking fluency. Cultural awareness. Language is more than words and grammar. It includes values, tone, and context. Listen to how people agree or disagree politely. Express emotions. Use humor. These subtle skills make your English sound natural and confident, especially at advanced levels. Resilience. There will be days when English feels difficult. This does not mean you are failing. It means your brain is being challenged. Resilient learners continue gently. They do not judge temporary difficulty as a permanent limitation. Mindset matters. Seeing difficulty as part of growth makes effort feel meaningful. This keeps you moving forward. Daily habits and automaticity. Habits remove the need for motivation. When English practice becomes automatic, progress is steady. Choose a time and place. Keep it simple. Protect it. Consistency and momentum. Consistency creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates more use. This cycle is powerful and self-reinforcing. When you practice regularly, even in small amounts, each action builds the next. Retrieval strength versus storage strength. Memory has two important parts. Storage strength, how well something is stored in your brain. Retrieval strength, how easily you can access it. Spaced practice improves both. This is why recalling information later is more effective than reviewing immediately. You can use this idea by testing yourself gently. Ask questions. Recall phrases. Explain ideas. Strengthening retrieval is essential for real-time communication. Listening speed. Many learners feel native speakers talk too fast. Science shows that perception improves with exposure. Over time, your brain learns to process faster. Tips. Do not slow everything permanently. Listen at normal speed regularly. Use slower speed only for difficult sections. Gradually, normal speed listening feels comfortable and natural. Emotional regulation. Anxiety blocks language processing. Simple physical actions help your brain access language. Breathe slowly. Relax your shoulders. Speak calmly. Before speaking, take a breath and ground yourself. Even this small action improves fluency and clarity. Curiosity. Curiosity increases learning efficiency. Ask questions about language. Why is this phrase used here? What is the difference between these words? Curiosity turns confusion into exploration. Questions lead to understanding. Understanding leads to confidence, flexibility, clarity, and comfort. Advanced English is not about knowing everything. It is about flexibility, clarity, comfort. You are building a relationship with the language. This relationship grows through use, patience, and awareness. Motivation, habit, and environment. Many learners rely only on willpower, thinking effort alone produces results. Science shows that willpower is limited. It decreases throughout the day. It cannot sustain long-term growth alone. Real growth comes from structured habits, an environment that encourages practice. Examples of an English-rich environment. Your phone set to English. English music in the background. Notes written in English. These small signals tell your brain that English is important and valuable, reinforcing your identity as someone who lives with English daily. Micro goals. Big goals like be fluent are motivating but feel distant. Micro goals create frequent feedback loops. Use one new expression correctly today. Summarize a short podcast. Write one paragraph about your day. Your brain notices these small wins, releasing dopamine and encouraging more learning. Repeated micro wins add up over months into meaningful progress. Combining learning with physical activity. Mild exercise improves focus, memory, and cognition. Try listening to a podcast while walking. Repeating phrases while stretching. Summarizing an article while cycling. Movement stimulates your brain and makes learning more efficient. Mindfulness. Mindful engagement improves noticing, retention, and comprehension. When listening, reading, or speaking, be fully present. Ask questions. Predict what comes next. Notice new words or patterns. Avoid passive consumption where your mind wanders. Mindful practice strengthens learning. Interconnection of skills. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are connected. Listening improves speaking. Writing improves reading. Speaking strengthens listening. Practicing one skill carefully benefits all others. A balanced approach produces stronger and more natural results. Vocabulary with context. Learning words is most effective when linked to meaning and context. Memorizing lists alone is inefficient. Learn words through stories, examples, or communication. Use new words in sentences. Notice them in multiple contexts and recall actively. Repetition with meaning ensures long-term retention. Using questions to drive learning. Ask yourself, why is this phrase used here? How does this grammar pattern work? What is the subtle difference between these words? Questioning creates active engagement, deeper processing, and stronger memory. Curiosity becomes a natural engine for improvement. Attention span. Long hours of study do not equal better results. Science shows attention is limited. Short, focused sessions are more effective than long, distracted ones. 10 to 20 minutes of undivided focus can surpass an hour of half attention. Structure practice in concentrated bursts. Give your brain time to recover. Storytelling. Humans remember stories far better than isolated facts. Learn English through stories. Listen, read, and speak stories. Retell stories in your own words. Predict outcomes. Reflect on characters' motivations. Story-based learning combines context, emotion, and repetition, accelerating progress. Sleep. Sleep consolidates memory and improves creativity. Advanced English requires flexible thinking, generating expressions, adapting to new situations. Adequate sleep strengthens these abilities. Treat sleep as part of your language learning system, not optional. Delayed output. Trying to produce English too soon can be overwhelming. First, build understanding through exposure, noticing, and reflection. Then, produce language gradually. This progression strengthens confidence and accuracy. Patience in producing English is not weakness. It is a sign of strategic learning. Sometimes, waiting to produce language until you feel ready is smarter than rushing. Gradual output ensures accuracy, confidence, and deeper learning. Peer feedback. Interaction with supportive peers accelerates learning. Constructive feedback gives an external perspective and helps you notice blind spots. Seek environments where mistakes are welcomed. Engage in discussions. Combine feedback with reflection. This approach improves retention, accuracy, and confidence. Mental rehearsal. Mental rehearsal means visualizing yourself speaking English fluently. Using new vocabulary. Navigating conversations. This prepares your brain for real situations. Mental rehearsal strengthens neural pathways, making actual performance easier. It is like exercising your mind in advance. Context-based grammar. Grammar is easier to remember when connected to meaningful situations. Notice how grammar functions in conversations or texts. Avoid memorizing isolated rules. This builds intuitive understanding and increases confidence in spontaneous use. Multisensory engagement. Combining different senses improves learning. Write while speaking. Read aloud while listening. Gesture while explaining. Multisensory involvement creates multiple retrieval pathways, improving recall and fluency. Motivation cycles. Motivation naturally rises and falls. Science shows that habits matter more than fluctuating motivation. Daily practice should become automatic. Consistency outweighs occasional bursts of effort. Mental scaffolding. Break complex tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of writing a full essay at once, outline first. Use simple sentences, expand gradually, and revise. Scaffolding reduces cognitive load and improves accuracy while maintaining steady progress. Exposure diversity. Exposure to different accents, styles, and genres strengthens comprehension. Listen to multiple speakers. Read different authors. Watch diverse content. Your brain adapts to variability, preparing you for real-life communication. Reward-based learning. Celebrate small victories in practice. Understanding a conversation fully. Using a new expression correctly. Completing a challenging task. Positive reinforcement strengthens habits and increases motivation. Self-assessment. Periodically evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. Identify areas needing improvement. Track progress. Adjust practice accordingly. Self-assessment combined with reflection improves retention and strengthens connections between skills. Error analysis. Do not just correct mistakes. Examine patterns. Why do errors occur? What alternative forms exist? Reflection turns mistakes into insight, which accelerates progress more than simple correction. Cognitive load management. Avoid overloading your brain with too many new elements at once. Focus on a few items per session. Master them before introducing new material. Strategic pacing improves retention and reduces frustration. Thinking in English. Habitually thinking in English trains. Fluency. Automaticity. It makes speaking easier because you no longer translate from your first language. Adaptive difficulty. Adjust the complexity of materials based on ability. Slightly challenging content promotes growth. Too difficult content causes frustration. Too easy content stagnates progress. Find the sweet spot consistently. Curiosity-driven practice. Ask questions, explore new topics, experiment with expressions. Curiosity activates the brain's reward system, increasing engagement and retention. Intrinsic interest produces more consistent and enjoyable learning than external pressure. Combining verbal and written practice. Speaking activates production pathways. Writing allows planning and reflection. Practicing both regularly reinforces understanding and expands expressive capacity. Resilience. Language learning involves plateaus and setbacks. Resilient learners persist with small, consistent actions. View difficulty as growth. Trust the process. Maintain confidence through incremental progress. Pattern recognition. Advanced English requires recognizing recurring structures, idioms, collocations. Exposure plus conscious noticing trains the brain to anticipate language, improving comprehension and production speed. Integration of life hacks. All these strategies are not isolated tricks. They form a coherent system where attention, habit, identity, emotion, reflection, environment all interact. This system optimizes your brain for learning English efficiently, enjoyably, and sustainably. Every single practice session matters. Every thoughtful exposure, every reflection, every small action strengthens your English potential. It is not about doing more randomly. It is about doing the right things consistently. Small, intentional actions repeated over time lead to mastery. Imagine applying these principles daily. Think about your day. Your listening becomes sharper. Your speaking becomes smoother. Your reading is faster and more precise. Your writing is clearer. Confidence grows because your brain has been trained methodically. Science shows that your neural pathways can adapt throughout life. With deliberate, consistent, and mindful practice, your English ability continues to expand. Start small, grow gradually. Begin with 1 or 2 changes. Observe the effects. Adjust. Add more strategies over time. Progress compounds. You are building not just knowledge, but skill, confidence, and identity. English becomes a natural part of your thinking, feeling, and expressing. With this approach, your English potential in 2026 can exceed your current expectations. Daily application. Here is how you can structure your day. Morning. Start with short exposure. Listen to a podcast, story, or calm conversation. Throughout the day, use micro goals. Repeat a phrase. Summarize an idea. Notice a pattern. Evening. Reflect on the day. Note successes, challenges, and insights. Integrate all 4 skills: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. Notice patterns, errors, and improvements. Allow emotion, curiosity, and engagement to guide your practice. Protect your sleep and attention. Adjust difficulty. Mix tasks. Celebrate small wins. This holistic system maximizes learning efficiency. Over weeks, these actions compound. English becomes easier in many situations. Comprehension improves naturally. Expression flows more freely. Mistakes become feedback. Curiosity drives exploration. Confidence stabilizes. Identity aligns with action. Specific examples of integration. Here is one full daily cycle. Morning. Listen to a news podcast. Breakfast. Repeat key phrases aloud while preparing food. Afternoon. Write a short reflection on a personal topic. Evening. Review vocabulary in spaced intervals. Night. Discuss a topic with a peer or online partner. Each action reinforces the others. Neural pathways strengthen. Memory consolidates. Skill grows holistically. Personalization matters. Choose topics, formats, and timing that fit your preferences. Some learners enjoy storytelling podcasts. Others prefer debates or discussions. The key is engagement, challenge, and consistency. Align habits with your interests and goals. This fuels intrinsic motivation and makes practice sustainable. Emotional intelligence in learning. Recognize your feelings about English. Manage frustration. Celebrate curiosity. Your emotional state directly influences focus, retention, and confidence. Positive emotional engagement strengthens how your brain encodes and retrieves information. Integration of life hacks. All these strategies complement each other. Spaced repetition reinforces memory. Active recall strengthens neural pathways. Emotion enhances attention. Sleep consolidates learning. Mistakes create adjustment. Consistency builds habit. Focus deepens comprehension. Identity shapes behavior. Reflection and awareness guide practice. Curiosity drives engagement. Variety enhances adaptability. Each element supports the whole system. By using this interconnected approach, you maximize results while reducing wasted effort. You do not need to study longer. You need to study smarter. You create an environment where English naturally grows. Habits reinforce identity. Your brain efficiently encodes, stores, and retrieves language. Weekly planning. Over a typical week, consider moments for listening, speaking, writing, and reading. Micro goals and reflection periods. Mindful attention to patterns, errors, and successes. Mixing content, varying contexts, and engaging emotionally. Tracking progress, noting small wins, and adjusting difficulty. These intentional, repeated actions compound into significant skill improvement over months. Science supports this approach. Learning is cumulative. Neural pathways strengthen gradually through use, exposure, and reflection. The brain integrates input across all modalities. Automatic practice and fluency. Practice becomes automatic. Fluency grows naturally. Confidence stabilizes. Advanced skills emerge from consistent application of simple, science-backed principles. Your English potential in 2026 depends not on talent or luck, but on the system you build. Each decision, habit, and practice session contributes to a growing network of knowledge, skill, and confidence. Starting today, begin with 1 or 2 life hacks. Short daily reflection. Active recall on key phrases. Brief listening sessions integrated into your routine. Observe the effects. Adjust. Add more strategies gradually. Progress is steady and sustainable when approached systematically. As you continue this approach, English feels increasingly natural. Comprehension improves. Speaking becomes fluid. Writing gains clarity. Patterns and structures become automatic. Mistakes become manageable learning opportunities. Curiosity and engagement drive exploration. Confidence stabilizes. Fluency emerges organically. You are building a long-term system that adapts to your needs and abilities. Every element, from spaced repetition to emotional engagement, from active recall to reflection, from identity shaping to deliberate practice, contributes to your growth. The combined effect of these elements is far greater than any single tactic alone. Over weeks and months, small, consistent actions compound. Your English ability expands. Your confidence increases. Your identity aligns naturally with language use. English becomes a living part of your mind. You think in English naturally, notice patterns and subtleties effortlessly, and communicate with clarity, confidence, and adaptability. Your system shapes your future. The system you build now determines the level of fluency and comfort you will enjoy throughout 2026 and beyond. Every choice you make, every habit you establish, and every mindful practice session shapes this outcome. Focus on consistency, engagement, reflection, alignment with goals. Combine listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Integrate emotion, curiosity, and deliberate challenge. Protect sleep, attention, and focus. This approach maximizes efficiency, retention, and real-world application. Your journey is cumulative, intentional, and flexible. Progress is steady, even when it seems subtle. Trust the system. Apply science-based life hacks consistently. Monitor, adjust, and refine habits. Over time, your English potential will expand significantly. From effort to flow. Advanced English emerges not from sudden breakthroughs, but from accumulated, consistent practice. Each session, each reflection, each conversation contributes to growth. Exposure becomes active. Effort becomes strategic. Neural pathways strengthen. Memory consolidates. Skills integrate. Confidence stabilizes. Fluency emerges naturally as a result of intentional, repeated, and holistic practice. Integrating all life hacks. Each element reinforces the others. Spaced repetition strengthens memory. Active recall strengthens neural pathways. Emotion enhances attention. Sleep consolidates learning. Mistakes provide adjustment and insight. Consistency builds habit. Focus deepens comprehension. Identity shapes behavior. Curiosity drives engagement. Variety builds adaptability. Error analysis strengthens understanding. Skill integration enhances fluency. Mindful attention guides growth. Together, they create a self-reinforcing system. You do not need shortcuts, luck, or talent. You need a system that aligns with how your brain learns naturally. Daily mindset matters. Your mindset influences not only motivation, but also how effectively your brain processes language. Approaching English with curiosity, patience, openness activates the brain, releasing chemicals that enhance memory and attention. Challenges transform into opportunities. Learning becomes more efficient and enjoyable. The long-term impact. Over time, fluency grows naturally. Comprehension improves effortlessly. Confidence stabilizes. Expression becomes clear and adaptable. Each small, deliberate action contributes to long-term progress. Mistakes become feedback. Micro wins accumulate. Exposure, reflection, active use, and emotional engagement work together. Consistency ensures retention. Identity shapes behavior. Curiosity drives engagement. Focus protects attention. Sleep consolidates learning. Every component strengthens the others. Your English potential in 2026. Your English potential is not hypothetical. It is the direct result of the system you build today. Spaced repetition. Active recall. Emotional engagement. Deliberate practice. Reflection. Habit formation. Focus. Identity alignment. Curiosity. Variety. Error analysis. Skill integration. Mindful attention. Consistency. All contribute to real, measurable, and sustainable growth. By following this holistic system, you create an environment where learning is efficient, enjoyable, and self-reinforcing. Motivation follows action. Confidence grows with success. Comprehension improves with exposure. Expression strengthens with use. Reflection and awareness guide progress. Curiosity drives exploration. The science-based way forward. Small, consistent, mindful actions expand your capacity, deepen comprehension, enhance fluency, strengthen confidence, and shape identity. English becomes a tool for thought, expression, and connection. You are not waiting for opportunity. You are creating it every day through intentional, science-based practice. Trust the system. Apply these principles consistently. Your English potential will grow steadily, sustainably, and enjoyably. By 2026, English will no longer be something you study. It will be a living skill, naturally embedded in your daily life. Every mistake, every difficulty, every bit of effort becomes meaningful data for your learning. How you frame your mindset matters. Instead of saying, I am trying to learn English, you can say, I am growing my English skill every day. This subtle shift emphasizes progress and action, not struggle. Your brain responds to positive framing, engagement, confidence, and retention improve naturally. Small adjustments, big effects. Even tiny adjustments in how you study or use English can create large cumulative effects. Switch from passive listening to actively summarizing what you hear. Use gestures while speaking. Connect new vocabulary to personal experiences. Small, deliberate, consistent changes strengthen memory and fluency over time. Attention to detail. At advanced levels, subtle differences in tone, meaning, and context become crucial. When reading or listening, pause to notice why a speaker chose one word over another. Analyze sentence rhythm and structure. Subtle attention trains your brain to process language with greater precision. Distributed practice. Spread your learning across time. Short, frequent practice sessions are more effective than one long session. Even 5 to 10 minutes multiple times a day builds stronger retention than an hour of distracted study. Consistency matters more than duration. Reflection journals. Writing short reflections on what you learn each day consolidates memory and clarifies understanding. Summarize new words, phrases, or ideas. Keep it brief, just a few sentences. Reflection encourages metacognition, guiding smarter, more focused practice. Anticipatory learning. Before listening or reading. Preview material. Predict ideas, vocabulary, or structures. Prediction engages the brain actively. When correct, confidence grows. When wrong, your brain adapts and learns from the difference. Emotional engagement. Positive emotions improve focus, retention, and creativity. Choose content that inspires, entertains, or fascinates you. Even curiosity alone activates reward pathways, making learning memorable. Emotion is a learning multiplier. Peer interaction. Language is social. Interaction accelerates learning. Discuss ideas. Practice speaking. Exchange feedback. Observe patterns in others' language. Social learning strengthens neural connections, retention, and motivation. Cognitive flexibility. Advanced English is adaptation, not memorization. Adjust tone, vocabulary, and sentence structure for different contexts. Expose yourself to formal writing, casual dialogue, and multiple accents. Variability trains your brain to switch between registers naturally. Linking language to identity. When English becomes part of who you are, practice becomes automatic. Think in English. Speak in English. Act in English. Identity-driven learning is resilient. You continue even when motivation dips. Error analysis. Every mistake is feedback. Examine why it happened. Consider alternatives. Test them in real situations. Mistakes become stepping stones, not obstacles. Storytelling. Humans remember stories far better than isolated facts. Embed vocabulary, grammar, and expressions into narratives. Retell stories in your own words. Predict endings. Discuss characters and motivations. Story-based learning combines emotion, context, and repetition, maximizing retention. Multisensory practice. Engage visual, auditory, and kinesthetic pathways. Write while speaking. Listen while gesturing. Act out scenes from stories. Multisensory engagement creates multiple retrieval routes, making recall faster and communication smoother. Self-assessment. Regularly evaluate. Strengths. Weaknesses. Progress. Adjust practice accordingly. Self-assessment keeps practice effective, efficient, and goal-oriented while reinforcing confidence and motivation. Mindfulness. Pay full attention to input. Mindful listening and reading enhance pattern recognition and comprehension. Even brief, focused sessions outperform long, distracted ones. Integration of skills. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are interconnected. Listening improves pronunciation. Writing improves vocabulary. Speaking improves comprehension. Integrated practice accelerates overall proficiency. Active recall. Testing memory strengthens retrieval pathways. Recall phrases, sentences, or concepts without reference. Speak, write, or summarize in your own words. Active recall is more effective than repeated passive exposure. Regular recall builds fluency, confidence, and automaticity. One powerful life hack is spaced repetition. Review vocabulary and structures at increasing intervals. This strengthens memory and prevents forgetting. Modern tools can automate spacing, but even simple notes or calendars work. Distributed practice allows your brain to consolidate information efficiently over time. Focus and attention. Protect your focus and attention. Minimize distractions, interruptions, and multitasking. Short, concentrated sessions are more productive than long, divided ones. Even 10 minutes of fully focused practice daily produces measurable improvement over months. Adaptive difficulty. Slightly challenging tasks promote growth. Tasks too easy create boredom. Tasks too difficult cause frustration. Monitor your comprehension and effort. Adjust materials for optimal challenge. This keeps learning engaging and effective. Micro goals. Break larger objectives into smaller, actionable steps. Master one phrase at a time. Learn one expression or one grammar concept per session. Frequent micro-achievements reinforce confidence and provide immediate feedback. Small wins accumulate into larger accomplishments naturally. Physical movement. Combine learning with light exercise like walking or stretching. Listen to a podcast while walking. Repeat phrases while stretching. Movement activates neural pathways, improves focus, and supports retention. Action plus learning equals faster skill growth. Emotional tagging. Link language to emotion. Joy, curiosity, surprise, and amusement improve retention. Learn through stories, interesting topics, or real-world application. Emotionally charged learning creates stronger memory traces. Deliberate practice. Focus intentionally on areas needing improvement. Practice manageable steps and gradually increase difficulty. Deliberate practice strengthens neural pathways far more than passive repetition. Social learning. Interaction accelerates learning. Discuss ideas with peers or mentors. Observe patterns. Exchange corrections. Social practice improves comprehension, production, and motivation. Mental rehearsal. Visualize yourself using English successfully. In conversations. In presentations. In writing tasks. Mental rehearsal strengthens pathways and prepares your brain for real performance. Attention to detail. Notice subtle differences in meaning, tone, and structure. Observe word choices. Analyze rhythm, intonation, and register. This attention develops advanced understanding and comprehension. Context-based learning. Learn words and grammar in meaningful contexts. Stories and real-life examples create stronger memory than isolated rules. Contextual learning builds intuitive understanding. Identity alignment. See yourself as an English user, not just a student. English becomes part of daily life. Habits become automatic. Confidence grows naturally. Identity drives sustained learning. Reward-based learning. Celebrate progress and achievements. Notice small wins. Recognize milestones. Positive reinforcement strengthens motivation and habit formation. Patience and persistence. Advanced English growth is gradual. Plateaus occur. Neural reorganization happens quietly. Trust the process. Continue consistent, intentional practice. Incremental effort produces significant results over months. Chunking. Learn phrases and collocations, not isolated words. Chunks reduce cognitive load. They improve fluency and natural speech. Use chunks actively in speaking and writing. Exposure diversity. Listen to different accents and styles. Read a range of topics and genres. Diverse exposure strengthens comprehension, flexibility, and adaptability. The brain prepares for real-world communication. Interleaving. Mix skills, topics, and formats in a session. Alternate listening, speaking, reading, writing. Interleaving increases cognitive engagement and strengthens connections between skills. Variety accelerates mastery. Self-compassion. Treat mistakes as learning opportunities. Avoid harsh self-criticism. Stress impairs memory and performance. Positive, compassionate reflection strengthens engagement, resilience, and efficiency. Prediction. While listening or reading, anticipate words, phrases, or outcomes. Correct predictions boost confidence. Incorrect predictions train your brain to adapt and learn. Prediction drives active engagement and comprehension. Integration. All strategies work together. Spaced repetition reinforces memory. Active recall strengthens neural pathways. Emotion enhances attention. Reflection guides improvement. Identity drives habit. Focus protects learning. Curiosity drives exploration. Variety improves adaptability. Error analysis ensures understanding. Together, they create a self-reinforcing system. Compounding growth. Every choice, habit, and action strengthens your English potential. Consistency compounds results. Small, deliberate actions accumulate. Comprehension improves naturally. Fluency becomes effortless. Confidence grows steadily. By following these strategies daily and systematically, your English evolves from effortful study to natural, automatic skill. 1. Introduction: the system of growth. Begin slowly with calm narration. Advanced English emerges not from random effort, but from systematic, science-based practice applied consistently. You are building a long-term system that adapts, grows, and strengthens with use. Emphasize key ideas in short, digestible sentences for listening comprehension. 2. Daily actions and micro-habits. Introduce the importance of small, deliberate actions. Every daily decision, habit, and action contributes to progress. Spaced repetition, active recall, emotional engagement, deliberate practice, reflection, habit formation, focus, identity alignment, curiosity, variety, error analysis, skill integration, mindful attention, and consistency all work together. Pause frequently to allow listeners to reflect. 3. Core science-based strategies. Spaced repetition. Review vocabulary and grammar at intervals. Active recall. Test yourself, explain ideas aloud, write summaries. Deliberate practice. Focus on weak areas with intention. Emotion and curiosity. Choose topics that inspire and engage. Identity alignment. See yourself as an English user, not a student. Reflection and mindfulness. Journals, predictions, and metacognitive questions. Chunking and pattern recognition. Learn phrases and collocations, not isolated words. Interleaving and variety. Mix skills, topics, formats, and contexts. Social interaction. Practice with peers. Exchange feedback. Reward and self-compassion. Celebrate progress. Treat mistakes as feedback. For each, provide a 20 to 30-second example or prompt. Try repeating this sentence aloud. Notice how the rhythm feels. 4. Integration and synergy. Emphasize that all strategies are interconnected. Each component strengthens the others. Spaced repetition reinforces memory. Active recall strengthens neural pathways. Emotion enhances attention. Reflection guides improvement. Identity drives habit. Repeat in slightly different words, reinforcing memory for listeners. 5. Long-term vision. Highlight compound growth and sustainability. Small, intentional, consistent actions accumulate over weeks and months. Fluency emerges naturally. Confidence stabilizes. Comprehension becomes effortless. English becomes a natural tool for thought, expression, and interaction. Encourage learners to visualize themselves using English effortlessly. 6. Daily routine example. Give a practical illustration. Morning. Listen to a short podcast. Afternoon. Write a reflection or summary. Evening. Speak with a peer or self-record a short dialogue. Review vocabulary at spaced intervals. Notice your progress daily. Reinforce integration of skills, emotional engagement, and habit. 7. Mindset and motivation. Emphasize growth-oriented mindset. Mistakes become insight. Curiosity drives exploration. Motivation follows action. Every choice, habit, and action strengthens your English potential. Short pauses allow listeners to internalize key messages. 8. Closing reflection. End with a calming, motivational summary. Your English potential in 2026 is shaped by the system you build today. Each practice session, reflection, and interaction contributes to growth. Progress compounds naturally. Fluency, confidence, and comprehension emerge from deliberate, consistent, and holistic practice. Listening script style tips. Short sentences, ideal for A2, B1 learners. Frequent pauses, include natural breaks to reflect or repeat aloud. Repetition, key concepts repeated 2 to 3 times in different words. Action prompts, encourage shadowing, self-explanation, or writing. Cinematic tone, calm, warm, reflective, motivational. Deliberate practice over shortcuts. Advanced English isn't about luck or talent. It grows through consistent, intentional, and science-based actions applied over time. Core strategies that work together. Spaced repetition strengthens memory. Active recall builds fluency and retrieval. Emotional engagement improves attention and retention. Identity alignment habits become automatic. Reflection and self-assessment guides progress. Deliberate challenge and adaptive difficulty promotes growth. Integration of skills listening, speaking, reading, and writing reinforce each other. Compound growth. Small daily actions accumulate into remarkable long-term progress. Neural pathways strengthen, memory consolidates, and skills integrate. Confidence stabilizes and fluency emerges naturally. Holistic system. Each principle reinforces the others. Exposure, reflection, practice, emotional engagement, identity, curiosity, and variety create a self-reinforcing cycle of growth. Mistakes become insights. Challenges become opportunities. Motivation follows action. Progress compounds naturally. Integration into daily life. English becomes more than a skill. It becomes a part of thought, communication, and identity. Your environment, habits, and mindset all contribute to cumulative improvement. How this could be used in a listening/fluency script. Read short, calm sentences with pauses for reflection. After introducing a principle, give a mini practice prompt, e.g., now repeat this phrase aloud. Notice how it feels natural. Repeat key phrases in different words to reinforce learning. End the episode with visualization and motivation. Your English potential in 2026 is determined by the system you build today. Every action compounds. Every choice matters. Fluency, comprehension, and confidence emerge naturally from consistent, intentional practice. Skills integrate. Fluency emerges naturally. Confidence stabilizes. Comprehension improves. English becomes a living, usable skill, embedded in thought, expression, and daily experience. Every action you take, every habit you form, and every practice session contributes to this cumulative growth. The combination of exposure, reflection, active use, emotional engagement, identity alignment, and deliberate challenge creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Fluency emerges. Comprehension strengthens. Confidence grows. Skills integrate. Your English potential expands continuously and sustainably when you apply these strategies thoughtfully and consistently. Advanced English learning becomes efficient, sustainable, and enjoyable. Small, deliberate actions accumulate. Neural pathways strengthen. Memory consolidates. Skills integrate. Confidence stabilizes. Fluency emerges. Your English potential grows steadily as a result of the science-based system you build today. Your journey in English learning is cumulative, intentional, and flexible. Each session, reflection, and practice opportunity shapes your growth, reinforcing your ability to think, speak, read, and write with confidence.